Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. It's another day, it's another story, it's another saga, it's another normal operation at Chelsea Football Club, because this is how it is nowadays. Each and every day that comes along, there's a new piece of information, there's a new storyline to the soap opera, and we keep going like that for how long, who knows, maybe forever. Anyway, we're going to get into that very quickly. I thought it'd be right to just hover very briefly on the Champions League semi-finals. We had Liverpool play Villarreal last night. We've got Real Madrid and Man City finalising their semi-final tonight. We'll see who's going to make it after the 4-3 win of Manchester City at the Etihad. Who's your money on? I want to ask you in the comments. Hit me up and let me know who do you think is going through. Obviously, if there's still time, because obviously the game's going to be kicking off not too far from the recording of this video. But Liverpool yesterday. Liverpool, what a team, what a club, what a club. I don't want to, give them too much praise, but look, you got to put your hands up and be honest. When you see a club functioning like they are, and the team functioning like they are on the pitch, and everything happening in and around the team and off the pitch, they're in pure harmony, and they're running like a well-oiled machine. And I say this, why? Because I come with an objective. That is the model we should be striving for right now, both on and off the pitch. Look at them blossoming beautifully on the way to a possible quadruple. I mean, fair play to the work that they've done and the attention that they've paid detail to. Unbelievable. So fair play to Liverpool. We'll see what Real Madrid and Manchester City do later today. My money is on Man City making it through, just to let you know. We'll see what happens, though. If Benzema can cause a shock like he did to us, then happy days. We'll see Real Madrid in the final, but we'll see what happens. Now, Chelsea Football Club. Crazy scenes once again. Yesterday I told you guys about the latest with Roman Abramovich, and apparently how he wants his 1.6 billion back. I was going to say million. We wish. 1.6 billion. Apparently he wants it back. Well, now we know that's not exactly the case. Okay, it's not him now going, give me my 1.6 billion back because I've changed my mind. There's a bit of a backstory here. So when he decided to announce that he was selling Chelsea Football Club, he hadn't been sanctioned at that point. And that was true. That was a point in time where we thought, okay, he's just going to take everything that belongs to him and he's going to leave the UK. And that's it. He'll never return. And that's where we thought the government had, let him off. Just take what's yours and goodbye. Don't come back. And then he got sanctioned. Now he's been sanctioned. The 1.6 billion that was meant to be written off, in order for that to be written off, because that was a loan from him and his company, Fordstam, okay, that he owns, that runs Chelsea Football Club. They are the parent company of Chelsea Football Club, which he owns. He's injected 1.6 billion of his own money into Chelsea Football Club as a loan from Fordstam to Chelsea. And that needed to be repaid. Then he went, I'm just going to write it off. For him to write it off, there's a process that you need to do in order to formalize that writing off. There's an administrative process that needs to happen, which doesn't just happen instantly. In the midst of that, the government announced that they had sanctioned Roman Abramovich. So everything had stopped. Which means that that loan that was meant to be written off isn't written off. And that's now classed as an asset as well of Roman Abramovich connected with Chelsea that is frozen now. Hence why that can't be written off. Which is why we've had this story now. Because Roman Abramovich is looking at that going, okay, you've not allowed me to write it off. I don't want Chelsea repaying this back. You're going to be getting the money from this sale. I want my 1.6 billion. When I wasn't sanctioned, I was going to write it off. Now I can't write it off because it's frozen. Well, I want it. And he's well within his rights. Now he knows that 1.6 billion would be going to the government, which was a loan from him to Chelsea Football Club. It's got nothing to do with the government. The sale of the club, cool. You take that, you do what you want with it. But that loan, that doesn't belong to the government. And I have to look at that and go, Roman's right. In that, Roman's absolutely spot on. If he wants that money back, he's well within his rights. Now we have an update in relation to that and how it's affecting the sale and how things are moving forward, because Chelsea are trying to adhere by this May 31st deadline, which is key. It's crucial to the future of the club. So let's get right into it and see what the latest is. Here it is. Revealed. Clearlake Capital's stake in Chelsea FC would be reduced to about 60% under a restructured ownership agreement being finalised following Roman Abramovich's demand for an additional £500 million to buy the Premier League club. And this article from Sky and Mark Kleinman goes on to explain how the Todd Boehly consortium seem like they are happy to go ahead and pay that extra 500 million. On top of that, there's the dispute about the loan, which we're going to get into now. So let's see what they are saying. Clearlake Capital, by the way, were meant to be owning about 66% of the share. With this new restructuring of the deal in order to accustom this additional 500 million that needs to be paid attention to, now it's going to be put down to 60%. But what we do know is, for those that are worried about Clearlake Capital being the majority owner, apparently the consortium as a whole have agreed equal voting share when it comes to major decisions made for Chelsea Football Club. Everyone has the same sort of influence when it comes to the voting on a decision. There isn't, you own more, therefore you get a bigger say. Apparently everyone has an equal say. So, I mean, that's fair enough, isn't it? Anyway, let's get into more around Roman Abramovich. Sources close to Chelsea owner Roman Abramovich say it was never his intention to leave the government with the impression he wanted to repay the loan to himself. But the dispute seems to surround whether the UK can legally freeze the loan. It was suggested a change in approach may have been triggered by authorities in Jersey swooping 2 weeks ago to target Camberley International Investments, an offshore account which is believed to be linked to Abramovich. So this is now where the worries come in from. The worries come from that this could easily be taken away from the entire process, triggered to an offshore account that Roman Abramovich has in Jersey, which isn't connected to the UK government, is connected to the Queen, because Jersey is owned by the Queen. Like, the UK isn't owned by the Queen. Jersey is owned by the Queen. That's her island. She can technically go and do what she wants on that island. Like, there isn't a parliament that they have to adhere to. The Queen can just go, yo, do this, and it's done, right? Jersey is that, and that's why you see Jersey being used as an offshore, a tax haven technically for some rich people. But Camberley International Investments is believed to be linked to Abramovich. So the fear from the British government is that, okay, this loan could be then transferred over to this, which would then technically be out of control from the UK government, triggering all these sanctions on Roman Abramovich. So it'd be a loophole for Roman to be able to take his money and go, basically. And that's what the government are trying to shut down now, which in terms of the sale of the club, we know this. But the 1.6 billion as a loan that he put into Chelsea Football Club that he wanted to write off, and now you're not allowing him to write it off, which because it's frozen, and now you want to take it. I can totally see where Roman's coming from. So we'll see what happens in relation to all of that. Now, talking about Roman and moving forward after he sells the club, what happens to the personnel that we already have at the club? You're talking Bruce Buck, the chairman, Marina Granovskaya, the director. Well, we have an update. And this is coming from, what seems to be we have an update in relation to them personally, and we have an update in relation to Todd Boehly. Let's get into it. Roman Abramovich's allies are set to keep running Chelsea FC after he sells the club. Bruce Buck and Marina Granovskaya have long-standing ties to the sanctioned oligarch going back to the 90s. This was a story that was triggered by the Financial Times. Kay Wiggins is there to explain all. She says, bidders say Marina's an impressive figure, but some politicians are wary of keeping existing power structures in place. Any continuity with the Abramovich regime at Chelsea is certainly an unsettling development. Department of Culture, Media and Sport Committee Chair Julian Knight, MP, tells us. So this is the guy that thinks it's a problem if someone who's even connected with Abramovich is still working at Chelsea Football Club. Which is brought us to the problem in the first place, because apparently they are saying Abramovich is connected with Putin. So therefore, even if he wants to try and bring this crisis to an end, even if he wants to try and end this war, even if he wanted to donate to Ukraine, even if, no, you're mates with Putin, mate, no, we're going to have to cut you off. And no, not just that, Marina and Bruce Buck, no, you're connected with Roman, no, we're going to have to cut you off, people. We're going to have to cut you off. this is ridiculous. It's getting stupid. It's getting really, really, really stupid. On the base of the British government, the hypocrisy is ridiculous. Now, I'm not going to say too much on it because I'm not Younes Talks Politics. I'm Younes Talks Football. But this MP, pipe down. Pipe down. Simple as that. Pipe down. We have to be realistic on a footballing level. You know, there has to be a transition. You're not just going to expect someone to walk in and the rest to depart the club. All right, see you later. All right, it's yours. Do what you want. No. On a business level, there has to be a transition. It would be right. What's Marina done? In this whole crisis, what's Marina done? What's Bruce Buck done? Why should they suffer? You know, we're all here asking, okay, what's Roman done? You know, and that's Roman. He's Russian with a Ukrainian mother, right? And we're asking, all right, what has he done? Now we even have to ask, what's Marina done? What's Bruce Buck done? Come on. You know, we've got issues with Bruce Buck and we've got issues with Marina on a footballing level, the whole Super League thing with Bruce Buck, Marina in terms of negotiation in the past, some of the dodgy transfers we've had that we didn't like, and then she got better, and now we're seeing some of the rewards from it, but there's still things that aren't really, you know, touch and go at Chelsea Football Club. I mean, Lukaku got signed, oh my God, what a catastrophe. Like that, you can turn to Marina. But on a non-football level, why should they suffer? It doesn't make any sense. But we have more about Marina and Bruce Buck. Check this out. This is also from the Financial Times. 3 sources have confirmed that Marina Granovskaya and Bruce Buck have been offered the option to remain at Chelsea under the Todd Boehly ownership. So Todd Boehly wants them. Todd Boehly is happy for them to stay. And you know what? I'm happy with that too. Now, I want to counter that because the Telegraph, so Matt Law and who he writes for, have come out with something a little bit different. So check this out. There has been no clear direction over whether the Todd Boehly ownership at Chelsea would want to keep Marina Granovskaya and Bruce Buck, but the pair are understood to be keen. So, happy days. Bruce Buck, look, if Bruce Buck goes, not the end of the world. With all due respect, not the end of the world. As a chairman, I think he's done good overall. He's been here for very long. Very long. We're talking, I think, about 20 years, right? He's been here a while, maybe longer. Marina had my issues with her at first. Then she warmed to me. She then done some very good business, and fair play to her. But I'll be more than happy for her to stay based on her negotiating power. But in terms of footballing decision, she's had a lot on her plate. She's had to do with both football and business. And from what her understanding is, I think she's done a fairly decent job. But it would be nice to get a proper director of football in that can come in and just deal with football. And then look, when we've identified the transfer, we've identified the target, we've identified the negotiation, we now need to talk to them on a level of completing the deal. Enter Marina. Finish the deal, close the deal. There we are. Marina is there to close the deal. That's it. Right? Sell me a pen. She would do it. If you know Wolf of Wall Street, you know. But that should be Marina's role. And I think if we were to allow that to happen, I think we'd be very, very well functioned. I think that would be a big, big turning point because we would have a power of negotiation on the table and we would have a director of football that's there to assist the scouting in identifying exactly what this team needs. Marina won't do that, right? So it's only right that I think it would be wise for Marina to stay in some sort of capacity. I thought it would be her leaving, but if she's staying, happy days. But we do need a director of football. So let's see what happens. Now, in relation to Todd Boehly, via Matt Law, we have this update. So check this out. Todd Boehly's bid have been incredibly impressed with Thomas Tuchel. They will look to talk to him quickly and tell him their vision. It's been a sticky patch of results, but Tuchel has been Chelsea's ambassador through all of this, and they've been hugely impressed. Matt Law on the summer says, I think they'll sign 2 defenders, and I think there will be a statement, eye-catching signing. I don't know who yet or what position. Hopefully that comes clear in the next couple of weeks. There's also a big push on Mason Mount's new contract and a potential for Edouard Mendy too. All of that sounds fantastic. The 2 defenders, we already have an idea. We know Koundé and maybe someone else, Rudiger, Christensen, maybe Aspie all leaving, maybe Alonso leaving. So it's true, we do need to start stocking up on defenders there. But we'll see who we get. And in relation to a marquee signing coming in, happy days. I don't want to just spend for spending's sake. We need someone who's going to come in and really, really fit into what we need, right? But to have a big statement signing, would be good. So we'll see. But it's nice that it seems like Todd Boehly's consortium, at the moment, they understand exactly what this club needs. And the structure they're coming in with seems like it's worrying on paper. But when you look into the detail, it looks like they've actually got every single corner covered. So you know what? With Todd Boehly coming in and that consortium, I'd like to think we'd be in very good hands. Now, the alternative bid is Jim Ratcliffe. Now there's only two left on the table. It's Todd Boehly and it's Jim Ratcliffe. Let's get into what Jim Ratcliffe has said to say, because there's been some developments today. So check this out. Exclusive from the BBC. Tycoon Sir Jim Ratcliffe tells me he's still committed to buying Chelsea FC in his first interview since launching a last gasp £4 billion bid for the club, and that he's had positive conversations with government. Ratcliffe admits he's been disappointed by the lack of response to his bid from the US bank Rain, but that he's not giving up. Says he needed time to consider the bid, hence missing the deadlines, addresses his support of Man United, vision for Chelsea, motivation for buying the Chelsea, and even the Boehly bid. He goes into more detail, but Jim Ratcliffe, we have to understand here, because there was news today that the Rain Group have rejected or dismissed Ratcliffe's bid. Well, obviously, because he didn't go via Rain, he went straight to Chelsea. This is how the bid was put in. He's not part of the process that Todd Boehly was part of. He went straight to Bruce Buck. Bid on the table. Deal with it. So it's two different avenues. So the bid is still on the table. It's still there for Chelsea to consider. And if Roman Abramovich wanted to, he could tell the Rain Group, thank you for your work. I'll give you some commission. There you go. But we're going to go with Ratcliffe. He could do that if he wanted to. Ratcliffe's bid is still on the table. Todd Boehly's is ready to go. And he can close that within the next 5 days. And that is what is out of control for Jim Ratcliffe. The next 5 days are Todd Boehly and his consortium have it to close this once and for all, if they can or if they're able to. Because they have that exclusivity. So we'll wait and see what happens. But Jim Ratcliffe spoke. So let's see what he had to say. We've had positive conversation with the government. Don't write off our offer. We were late because it's a big decision and we are there for the long term. Goes on to say, I can't imagine Chelsea will be out of business, but I think they will suffer next season if they are not active in the transfer market. So that's wise. And Ratcliffe's spokesman or spokesperson has said, our issue, if you look at the preferred bid, it's not the Boehly bid, it's the Clear Lake bid. It's a private equity bid, and the NFL don't allow private equity firms to take major stakes in clubs, so why should the Premier League? Goes on to say Jim spent 7 years working in private equity, and the nature of private equity is investors have a requirement for a relatively short to medium term return. How do you do that with a club like Chelsea, which needs a huge amount of investment in the next 10 years? It's a very interesting point. He's not lying. He's not lying. The majority owner, no, the majority share, right? We have minority owner in Todd Boehly because he's leading the consortium. But the majority share, the one with the biggest piece of the pie in that consortium is a private equity firm, Clear Lake Capital. The point that Jim raises here, or his spokesperson raises, is very valid. They're a private equity firm. Their prime objective is money. Yes, invest, but I need that return. If not, we shouldn't have any involvement in this. So it's right. This club does need investment. There's a new stadium. There's all of that. I'd like to think that Todd Boehly and his consortium have actually discussed all of this and thought it out, and there is a structure in place and there is an agreement, and Clear Lake won't just be like, look, we just want our money. I don't think they do that. But it's a point that Jim can use as leverage to try and boost his bid up, because he's coming by himself. He's worth 16 billion. He's coming alone. There's no equity firm involved. And it's a point in terms of trying to persuade that he does have on his side. So look, it's business. It's trying to convince. It's a sales pitch. I can see why Jim and his spokesperson have said that. It's leverage because it's a valid point. But we'll wait and see what happens. Right now, Todd Boehly and his consortium has a five-day exclusive period. Let's see what they do. But this whole 1.6 billion loan issue, we'll see what happens there, because clearly Roman has an issue with it being frozen. So that's definitely going to be part of the sell. Will it be a factor in Todd Boehly closing the deal in the next 5 days? Will it mean that that can't be done and all of a sudden Jim comes in? we'll wait and see. But it's never a boring day at Chelsea Football Club. I'll see what happens. You'll see what happens. And I'll give you my opinion as we approach day by day. So I'll see all of you tomorrow for a brand new video. Make sure you give me your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your opinions on all of this that I've discussed today. Much appreciated. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. Hit the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Smash the like button if you've enjoyed this. And don't forget, give me your Real Madrid Man City predictions down below whilst there's still time. And I'll see all of you tomorrow for a brand new video. Have a good one, people. In a bit. Take care and peace.